Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Froe Show. My name is Peter McKinnon, and I'm joined, as always, by my beautiful co-host, Joe Murray.
Hello, Trump.
Hello, Joe.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Do you mind explaining what that was?
That is a video of Travis Scott falling off stage in auto-tune. It's so good. I'm going to play it again. Ready? That's him falling. Yeah. I love it so much. It's so stupid, but it gives me so much joy.
Yeah.
It brings me so much joy. Hi.
Hi.
What episode is this?
63?
You do not sound particularly sure.
Me? No, I'm not. I want to 62, I think, actually.
It is
62.
It is 62.
Yes.
Well done. Proud of you.
I'm so smart.
Episode 62. What's up? How you going, episode 62? I'm going good. I don't know.
So
I'm good. I'm doing good. It's been a long week.
It has. It was just a long day yesterday.
It was a long day yesterday. Joe and I had a job yesterday. We won't get into specifics, I think, but
Probably best not to just yet.
it was wow.
It was a lot.
It was just it was product photography for
something that wasn't.
it wasn't particularly interesting, and it was a
No.
lot of products that were all functionally slightly different, but pretty much looked the same.
Yeah.
So we were there for hours, just basically taking the same pictures of slightly different products and having to like lug them up and down stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And they were not
light.
particularly light
Or small.
or small. Yeah, they were quite cumbersome. So
Yeah.
But it was work.
It happened.
But
It'll be.
yeah, so we're a bit wrecked actually.
Yes.
Just like creatively and emotionally.
Emotionally wrecked.
Am
Is
I
a
wrong?
really- No.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even think. I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, now that you say it,
Now that I say it, you are quite emotionally wrecked.
that was a roller coaster.
It
yesterday.
really was. We got home and we were like, let's have a drink.
Yeah, let's do nothing right now.
We copied the photos and we were like, well, let's have a beer. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was good. It was work. And that's the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
Which means we are closer to the studio.
We're a lot closer.
We are
a lot closer than we thought.
Much closer to a studio. So we're doing well. Speaking of making money, I spent a lot of money this week. In fact, I've spent a significant amount of money over the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
John, we were talking about this the other day. How like when you buy one expensive thing, your brain like short circuits, and your logical reasoning of like, I shouldn't buy that, that's expensive, just goes, because you're like, oh, my last purchase was like this much, so I might as well, right? So my first one was the lens, which was 70-200, and then it was the bag, which I will talk a little bit more about later, but that showed up at the end of last week's episode.
Yep.
And now I've purchased a new drone. I bought the Air 2S, which is not a cheap drone, and it just came out like 2 weeks ago. So I've spent like several thousand in the past
in 2
like
weeks.
2 weeks. So I need to just stop and just eat beans for like a couple of weeks, I think. Just like hide my card, delete all of my card history on my phone.
Yes.
I was looking at last night. I was in bed. I was looking at white noise machines.
Why? Just play white noise on your phone.
I hate that.
Why?
Because
there's no difference.
But I don't like that it comes from one spot. I need a speaker, like a fill the room a bit.
Right. Well, just play it on your Bluetooth speaker.
Yeah, well, I thought of that, but I was already in bed.
Do it tonight.
Okay, I will. But I bought the Air 2S, and I wanted to talk a little bit about it because it's super, super interesting, actually. So it, in some ways, well, in every ways, it's now DJI's like top drone like next to the Pro 2.
Right.
So you've now got the Pro 2 and the Air 2S. And they excel in different areas. So the Air 2S is a lot smaller, so it's way easier to take with you. It's like 600 grams versus the Mavic Pro 2, which is like I think 1.2 kilos or something.
Wow. Okay.
So slightly larger, but it's the first non-pro DJI drone to have a 1-inch sensor. So in the past, it's been like a 1 over 2/3 sensor, and then the Mavic Minis have had a 1 1/4 sensor, I think. So they're like they're smartphone sensors. So the Mavic Minis are smartphone sensors. The Airs historically have been like GoPro sensors,
Right.
or like early GoPro sensors. Actually, that reminds me, I have to talk about something about GoPro later.
Okay.
Don't let me forget.
I won't.
Okay.
I won't. I like GoPro because it means my drone.
Yes. And now this is the first DJI drone that's not a pro to have a 1-inch sensor, which is super exciting. So it just means that the pixel density is much higher, closer. I don't know how to say that, but there's more pixels basically. So there's more. The images look a lot better. And so now there's it shoots 5.4K at 30 and 4K at 60. So yeah.
Wow.
So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of other stuff. So the reason that I chose the 2S over the 2 was one for the 1-inch sensor, because I'm using my drone a lot more for photography than videography. So that difference in image quality really, really matters to me.
Yeah.
And the main reason that I upgraded from my Mavic Mini was because the Mavic Mini is so small and has such small motors that it just gets taken away in the wind. So I really wanted to upgrade to something that I didn't have to be scared launching.
Yeah.
So actually, I might look up the max wind speed, because the max wind speed for the Mini is... So the max wind speed for the Mavic Mini is 28.4 kilometers an hour.
Oh, okay. That's not very quick.
No, that's like the max wind, not its max speed.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
Particularly when you're going up.
Yeah. The Air 2, which I think uses the same motors as the 2S, is 68 kilometers an hour.
Oh, okay.
So much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
I would be surprised if you get caught somewhere where you don't want to launch that.
Yeah. So I watched a video of this guy who launched it like in a pre-storm, so like when it's super windy, and it was like out by the ocean, so super windy.
Yeah.
He launched it there, and it was something like I want to say 90 kilometer an hour winds, but like just take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And it flew. Not at bless you. Thanks. Bless you. Not at max speed by any means. But it flew and did pretty well. So that was my main reason for upgrading. The sensor size was super important for me as well. And then there's also the reason that I wanted the 2S over the 2, bar those reasons, was the 2S has something new called Master Shots.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, so one of the really big things with DJI that they're doing now is active tracking. So selecting a target on the screen and the drone will just follow you.
Yeah.
And it'll avoid obstacles and make sure that it doesn't hit anything, blah, blah, blah. That has gotten a lot better with the 2S and the 2, specifically the 2S, because the chip inside it is much faster and can process a lot better. So its tracking is fantastic. I've watched videos where people are like on a one wheel or a bike or something, and they'll go through like a canopy of trees, and it'll come under and like through the trees, and like won't lose speed. It'll just go through.
That's insane.
The only time that it fails, and I've seen it fail, is if it has to do parallel movement. So if it has to go sideways, it doesn't have sideways sensors. So it's kind of guessing if it's okay or not. And I've seen videos of people crash it sideways using active track, and it falls into like canals and stuff. So not great. So just keep it going straight, and you should be sweet. You shouldn't hit anything.
Yeah.
Which is super cool because it has upwards forwards and downwards sensors and backwards sensors.
That's
it's
strange.
just
It doesn't have sideways.
side sensors. It's a weight reduction thing, I think.
Okay.
And so, because a lot of drone movement is forwards, backwards, up and down, so the sideways sensors aren't as necessary.
Yeah, of course, because you look where you're going and then go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And then an extension of that the 2S has that the 2 doesn't is Master Shots. So what Master Shots is you select a target, whether that's a person or an object or a place, and it sort of very rudimentally makes a 3D map of that area. Yeah. And then it does all of these really professional looking camera moves without you having to do anything. So you basically just like select a template and it'll be like, okay, well, this is going to take 5 minutes. And you just press go and the drone will do like panning shots. It'll do parallax shots where it's like moving out as it's zooming in. And so it like will create this really cool parallax effect and like it'll do top down and yeah, it has it all covered for you. The downside of that is that it will only it'll only be able to shoot in 1080.
Right.
So the output that it creates is 1080 max. Oh. Whereas if you're doing it yourself, it can be 5.4K, obviously. Yeah. But that's just because of the amount of processing power that the drone needs to actually execute those moves. And it's like pulling that from its processor. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that was something really cool. So for Instagram and stuff, I'm super excited to use that because I rip a bunch of stuff straight from the drone and upload it on Instagram. So if I can do a Master Shots thing that's like 30 seconds long and I can just dump it on Instagram, I'm set.
Yeah.
That's all I want, really.
That's crazy.
That's all I really want to use the video capabilities of the drone for is Instagram. So that I'm really, really excited about.
So do you put that in like on the phone while it's flying and you say I want a 30-second shot?
Yeah.
30-second clip.
Yeah.
Clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And it spends 5 minutes shooting.
Yeah.
And then that's crazy.
And then it'll just be like beep, I'm done. Yeah. I'll see if I can find one of the videos. And I can make my job later harder and put it on the screen. Master Shots. If I can find what they look like. No, I can't find one very easily. That's a bit annoying. That's okay. But yeah, and the other thing it has is an internal zoom. So you can do up to 4 times zoom. It is digital zoom. Yeah. But it's up to 4 times. So from what I've seen, like 2 to 3 times still looks good. 4 times it looks like digital zoom. Right. But being able to zoom up to 3 times,
very nice.
That's very nice for a drone. Yeah. And then one last thing was, it has an Fpv Gimbal Mode. Where actually 2 more things. Fpv Gimbal Mode, where because at the moment the drone's like if you turn, the drone turns but the gimbal stays level. Like that's how it works.
Because it like banks.
Yeah, so if it banks, the gimbal stays level.
Yeah.
And it just locks the horizon. But there's an FPV gimbal mode where it'll follow the banking of the drone, same as an FPV drone would. So when you turn, the gimbal just follows the actual drone.
Wow.
Which is really cool.
That could be awesome.
And then one last super cool thing is that the Air 2S is compatible with the DJI FPV goggles.
Oh.
Which is very cool.
That is very cool.
So if we ever end up getting the DJI FPV goggles,
we might have to now.
It's compatible and way cooler than the screen.
Yeah.
And there's also I just saw recently that DJI has a smart controller as well. That's just a dedicated controller with a screen built into it, rather than having to like plug your phone in and stuff.
Huh.
So I thought that's pretty cool. And they've revamped the controllers for the Air 2s. Hang on, let me get my controller. I'm going to talk about this bag later.
Wrong one.
So, this is the current, or was the current DJI controllers. So it would flip out from the bottom. Your sticks would be under there, in here. And then you'd flick up the antennas, and your phone would sit in the bottom here.
Mm.
That's how the DJI controllers used to work. Now, there are no antennas. The antennas are built in to the controller. So they're all internal. And this, where the antennas are, flicks out, and you pull it out, and then you just slot your phone in that way. So rather than having to wedge it between these two, you just clamp it down.
Yeah.
And then you just run the cable around that way. So you don't have to do all the fiddling of like trying to get the cable through this gap and plug it in and all that stuff that I hate and does my head in. Don't have to do that anymore. So super cool.
I think that's a way better idea, having a phone on top as well.
Yeah, right? It makes way more sense.
It's so strange to have, because like your hands can get in the way of the phone.
Yeah.
Like I think I bumped things on the phone and stuff.
Yeah, I absolutely have. And there's just this feels more natural, and it's also wider. So it's the controller is about that big, with like, if you imagine that this is solid.
Yeah.
It's about that big. So it's about like a hand's length, give or take. And then you pull the top out to put the phone in. So controller's bigger, and everything's built in. So super excited. That should be coming somewhere, by the time this comes out, somewhere this week or early next week.
Right.
I think my estimated shipping date is the 24th of May.
That's a Sunday.
That's
no,
a
it's
Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm holding out hope that it'll come the week before.
Yes.
I really hope it does.
Hope it comes on the Friday.
Me too. I hope it comes soon, because I really want it. But yeah, so super, super excited for that, and I can't wait to test it and play with it and take it with me on my future trips.
Yes.
Should I talk about the bag, or?
Well, speaking of future trips,
should I talk about? Okay, I'll do the GoPro thing later, because that's exciting.
Okay.
I'm
yeah.
very excited about
Alrighty.
it. But let's talk about the bag first.
Talk about your bag.
I've been using the Peter McKinnon Nomatic bag for a week now, to the day. I've taken it with me on 2 shoots.
Yep.
And I finally have the second half of the bag, which is the camera cube. And I am ready to give my thoughts.
You're ready?
My thoughts are, it's sick and I love it and you should buy one. Those are my thoughts. Review concluded.
That is all.
In all seriousness, it's fantastic. It's the best camera bag I've ever owned. It fulfills all of my needs and more. And every single thought that I've had, where I'm like, oh, I wonder if it has that. It just does. I was like, oh, I want to bring a tripod with me to the shoot tomorrow, and so I put it into the tripod holder, and I was like, oh man, it's kind of wobbly, and then I realized that that's what the things on the side are, and you just clip in a strap, and you can just strap it down. And then I was like, the other day when we went up to Mulaney, I was like, oh, like, be cool to have a side access, and I just went, pulled the camera out.
Yep.
That was really cool. And all of the internals are all modular and stuff, so really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
I'm loving it, and I think I've figured out my setup now, which is cool. I kind of have an idea of how it works now. This camera cube has been a pleasant surprise to me.
Oh.
Because I didn't buy it at first. I just bought the bag.
Yeah.
And then I watched a review, and they basically said, you have to get the camera cube. If you don't get the camera cube, you're not getting the full potential of the bag. Right. And I was like, okay, well, fair enough. So I bought the camera cube, which was an extra $200. And he was right. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So essentially, for those not in the know, what the camera cube is, it's this little cube, and it just slots into the top of the bag. So you do lose quite a bit of space to this, but you just slot it into the top, and then the actual cube is the same as the internals of the bag. So it's slightly smaller. You lose a little bit of space by using this, but it's pretty much filled by this. So I've turned this into my drone case. It's going to get a bit more full when the Air 2 comes and stuff. Yeah. Because that's going to be bigger, and I'm going to have, the controller and everything, and hopefully chargers and batteries. And so that sits at the top of the bag, and it's kind of like an extra layer of protection. The super cool part of this is that it converts into a backpack.
Yeah.
So you unzip the top, and then the top folds out, and then you've got an everyday backpack that you can take with you.
I want to see the inside of this, actually.
Which I think is just so cool. And it just clips in. There's these little clips here, and you've just got to clip them in at the bottom. It literally takes 2 seconds. This clipping mechanism is so cool. It clips in like this. Here, ready? Do it here. You just go like this, and then you push down the top, and it unclips.
Oh. So it goes...
Yeah, but make sure it's not twisted or anything. There we go. Yeah, so you just slide through the little metal bit through the loop.
Through there.
Yep, and then just clip it. Push it over the loop.
That's it.
That's it. Super secure.
How do you undo it?
You just push on the top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick, because that'll never come undone.
Right?
Because it's like... What is it? Like backward... Well, it's opposite pressure when you're holding... When you've got the bag on...
Yeah.
Pressure's going the opposite way.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah. It's so well thought about.
It is. And this isn't a small bag.
No.
Like, you can fit a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah. So my plan is my plan is to take the big bag as the travel bag, and then the camera cube is going to live in the bag, and then this will be my everyday bag when I'm traveling.
Yeah.
So my plan is that when I travel and I take this bag with me, I'm going to put the drone and a lens in the bottom here. So it'll probably be drone on one side and the 70-200 along the long side. And then on the top, I'll put my I'll put my camera with the 24-70 on it. And that'll be the everyday bag. And I can put food and stuff in there if I need to as well. It also has a
I
little
saw that.
internal pocket for your wallet or your passport or whatever.
Yeah.
So sick.
It's insane.
It's just everything has been thought about, and I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
I'm just constantly amazed by this bag.
Even if you like left that out, and you'd like carried it on your front while you were traveling, and then you'd have more room for clothes in that top section or something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, very very happy with it.
Yeah.
I think that this bag is gonna. And wait, here, I'll just show you this. So easy. This bag is going to live with me for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Very long time, I'm sure. And I'm so excited to beat the absolute crap out of it. Just like abuse it.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's made for. I do want to figure out if I can find a way to like put patches and stuff on the front.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see if I can do that because I think that would be very cool, especially because a friend of mine is getting the same bag.
Oh.
Not you, different friend.
No, not me.
He's getting the same bag, and I want to be able to know which one is mine very quickly.
Yes.
Because that will get annoying. But I can definitely see this bag becoming a mainstay in a lot of photographers' lives.
Yeah.
Particularly I'm also still getting the everyday bag.
The one in October.
Yeah.
Right.
So Peter McKinnon also has a Kickstarter up at the moment for the everyday bag, which is an everyday version of this bag.
Yeah.
So I'll have that as well. And then I will be set for the rest of my life. I won't need anything else.
No.
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the bag. Literally, it's great. It's so good.
Have you tried to put all your clothes and stuff in the front?
I have not tried that yet.
You should try that.
But just looking at it, I don't think I'll struggle. I don't wear that many clothes anyway, so like,
Yeah.
I'll be wearing a pair of jeans. I'll put my my stretchy pants
Oh, yeah.
in there, a couple t-shirts, some socks. I'll wear the same pair of shoes. I'd be set for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like actually. Granted,
sick.
I wouldn't be doing anything fancy.
No.
Like our road trip.
Yeah,
Done.
true.
Sorted.
Done. Easy.
Sweet.
I like it.
Anyway, great bag. Definitely recommend it. Solid, like 9.5 out of 10.
9.5. What's wrong with the half of it?
I I'm docking half points just because Velcro pisses me off.
Okay.
That's it. And I understand the reason. I understand that it has to be modular.
Yeah.
But Velcro does just genuinely piss me off.
Yes.
And
And there is a lot of Velcro.
there is a lot of Velcro. But it's kind of hard to do a modular camera bag without Velcro.
Yeah.
The advantage is it's very good quality Velcro, and it's really, really hard to rip off.
It is.
Which is much better, because that's my gripe with the other camera bag, is that the Velcro just tears out.
It like falls out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this will not come off, which is arguably just as annoying, but in a different way.
Yeah.
But yeah, great bag, 9.5 out of 10. You should buy one. Anyway, moving right along.
Yes.
For you little FPV nerd.
Woo.
I sent you a link to something the other day. Did you watch that video that I sent you?
I feel like I did. I
The
don't quite remember what it was.
GoPro Lens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, maybe not. I don't remember it. Hold up.
I think I sent you something else with it. And so
Oh no, maybe I didn't.
you might have
I didn't end up watching it.
Okay, so I will give you the lowdown.
Mm.
It is called the GoPro Max Lens.
Yes.
Basically, what it does is you get a GoPro Hero 9. One of the beautiful GoPro Hero 9s.
Let's see how much they are. Yeah,
And you clip this lens onto the front, and it automatically will level your horizon. And you can rotate the camera as much as you want, full 360,
yeah.
and it'll hold the horizon with no distortion or anything.
What?
It is insane. I have no clue how it works. I
What?
genuinely do not understand it whatsoever.
I'm very confused. How does that work?
Well, I don't know. That's the gist of it. It might as well be black magic. I'm going to show you a clip from that video.
Yeah.
It's the video that I'm talking about is the Matti Hapuya video. It's called GoPro Hero 9 Best Kept Secret.
Right.
It's they've just released it, I think, a couple months ago.
Okay.
But it basically gives you like one half of a 360 camera.
Yeah.
Where is it? Here we go.
They're $600 as well.
That's not bad. Okay.
Yeah. I bought mine for $500, I think, when I got it.
Right. Okay, here's a video of the test. So he's holding the camera out in front of him. He presses record, and then he rotates his hand all the way around.
What? No.
And it just locks the horizon.
That's so silly. What? How?
I have no idea how it works.
And it's just a lens.
Yeah, it just clips onto the lens, which is I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, man.
And it's not even like shaky or anything.
No.
Like it's perfect.
Here it is on an FPV drone. So he's attached it to an FPV, and it just locks the horizon. So
Yeah.
you don't get the banking or anything like that. You just get the raw footage. It's really cool. I think this is genuinely like solved my biggest issue with GoPro, is that it's too wobbly.
Yeah.
It makes me sick when I watch GoPro videos, but this is incredible.
Whoa.
And in the video, so in the FPV test, it's snowing, and you can see the lens how it moves, because the snow rotates, but the footage doesn't, which is really cool. But yeah, I have no idea how it works.
Oh, was that playing through there?
No, I turned off the sound on my phone.
Right.
So it's fine. Yeah, I have no idea how it works at all. Like, really no clue. But
No.
it's very cool.
It is very cool.
And it would solve my issues with the GoPro, that it wouldn't make me sick because the horizon would be locked. But it's basically it's an automatic stabilizer at that point, because it solves the hardest issue of stabilization, which is rotation.
Yeah.
Everything else can be stabilized in post really easily. Like general shaking and like forward and backwards, super easy to fix. Rotation, nah.
Yeah, because like with the general like shakiness, you just like stabilize and post. It crops in a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
you see it. You see. Yeah. What do you reckon? Do you think you'll get a new GoPro soon for Fpv?
Yeah.
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 Because what you've got now is 6?
5.
Oh. What's mine? A 3?
4.
4. I remember buying that new. That
Yeah?
makes me sad.
Same with mine.
That's really
I
depressing.
bought mine like 2 months after it came out.
Yeah, mine's a Hero 4. I
Yeah.
remember being very excited about 1080p 60.
Yeah.
Does it still have battery?
I don't think so. But yeah, the biggest thing, the thing I have the biggest issue with now with the Hero 5 is the stabilizer.
Oh, yeah.
Because what is it? You know, I shoot at 1080 60 frames with
Yeah.
it anyway. I don't bother shooting in 4K because I like mainly just post them to Instagram and stuff anyway. So yeah, but the biggest problem, or the biggest thing I need to upgrade with it is the stabilizer.
Right.
And if you watch like the hyper smooths on the GoPro 9s, it's insane.
Yeah, I've seen them actually. And with that Max Lens,
It's just,
you you wouldn't need to do any post work.
no. Whereas like my footage is super shaky.
Yeah. And it looks weird when you put a stabilizer on it as well.
It does. It does strange things. But yes. What are you doing?
I just haven't actually like properly looked at this camera since,
Right.
and I'm just like a bit intrigued by it. If I'm honest, it's just it just sits on my desk kind of because I know that it's a bit terrible
Yeah.
now, and so I just like have never really looked at it.
Right. Every now and then I want to just like put an action cam in a really strange place and then get a weird shot, like put it on a car. I don't know.
I watched a video of someone who got one of those like suction cup mounts and they suction cupped their camera to the car and did a hyperlapse.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I'd be terrified to do that with my gear.
Really?
Yeah.
With that camera?
No, this was with like a Sony A7S III or whatever.
Oh, okay.
I don't know Sony cameras very well. Sorry if that was wrong.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. No, that is scary.
That's very scary.
Yeah.
I respect it though. Risk your ear.
Yeah. As you say, you don't
I
risk
should get a tattoo about that.
risk your gear.
No, I don't want to get a word tattoo. I'll get a camera on fire.
A camera on fire.
No, bad idea. That camera will date so quickly.
It will.
That's the thing about getting camera tattoos, I think, is that like unless it's a super retro camera, you'll immediately date it.
Yeah.
Like if I got a Canon EOS R on me in
It's
like 20 years,
Yeah.
I'd be like, what? Why have you got a dinosaur on you?
You already do.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Oh.
Anyway, I think you should get a new GoPro for your FPV.
Yes.
I think first you have to learn how to make your own FPV drone, though.
I do. I want to make. Actually, yeah. I've also realized that the drone that I have is just not stable in general because of the guards on it
Right.
and because the props are whittle.
Yes. Are you ready to take the guards off yet?
No. No, I don't think I will take the guards off that one. That'll just become like an indoor, eventually when I get better at going slow,
Yeah.
an indoor drone. And then I'm going to build my own for outdoor stuff.
For ripping it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ripping it and even just shooting it because like with the 5-inch props, which are nearly double the size of the ones that I have at the moment, I don't know. There's way less prop wash. It just doesn't move as much.
Right.
Really.
And you can do a bit more cinematic stuff with it.
Hopefully, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, my footage is going to be way cooler than yours. So
I don't think it will be though.
mine, I'm just going to press a button and it'll do it for me. So
That's true.
I'm clearly superior here.
Really.
Yeah.
Really. I'll be mad if your FPV gimbal thing will look better than my FPV videos.
Nah, it won't. It's actually it is pretty shoddy from what I've seen.
Oh, really?
It's really cool if you go in a straight line and then turn once because you get that cool bank.
Yeah.
But if you try to go back, the gimbal kind of freaks out and goes and then turns.
Right.
So like you can use it for one specific shot, but other than that, it's a bit dodge.
Right.
Actually, I was looking at this guy. His YouTube channel is called Make Art Now. It's really good. He's like cinema level YouTuber. It's insane.
Right.
But he makes a lot of his money by doing real estate videos. And so one of the things he does is he has a DJI Inspire X7. I don't know. One of the really, it's like 15 grand.
Right.
Super expensive, US.
Whoa.
Super expensive drone. And it has like a full frame sensor it has a 35mm sensor, and the footage from that thing is beautiful. Like it's used in movies and stuff.
Right.
And so he was comparing every single DJI drone to that basically, and like figuring out where they all stand. And so he did like, Mavic Mini, Mini 1, Spark, Air 2, Air 2S, Mavic Pro 2, and then the Inspire. And the only one that stood up like to the DJI Inspire that he was like, I could realistically use this footage and intersperse it and you probably wouldn't notice was the Air 2S.
Oh, really?
Which was like...
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, wow, all right, cool, fair enough.
Yeah. And so that's like, bye.
Yeah, pretty much. I was
now.
like, I was like, all right, cool, I'm sold.
Yep.
I'm done. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention actually about the drone is that because the sensor is so much larger, its high ISO performance is much better. So at 6400, it's way brighter and not as grainy. So I can actually do like up to dusk twilight shooting and still look really cool.
That could be very
which
cool.
is very exciting.
Yeah.
But only up to dusk because anything after that is illegal.
Is it?
Yeah, you can't fly a drone at night, technically.
If you don't get caught.
Wink. What was it you said?
If you don't.
Can you say again what you said yesterday? How we were talking about, we were talking on the drive home.
On the drive home?
Yeah.
I was like, is it only me or every now and then you have an urge that you need to do something slightly illegal? Even if it's just like going 1K over the speed limit or just slipping into somewhere you shouldn't be. Something like that. Flying a drone at night.
Just like flying in restricted airspace.
Yep. Going too high, too close to an airport.
Going to abandoned buildings.
Going to abandoned buildings that happen to be owned by people.
It's fine. I thought that was so funny and so accurate because a lot of photographers do just do that. They're like, yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Actually, there's this photographer, and his name is... Oh, no.
John Cena.
Shut up. You suck. I think his name's Drift. Drift photographer. No. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I have to find who this is now. Anyway.
What's he do?
He basically breaks into places. But he is phenomenal. So he does some stuff that's sort of illegal, but like he bends the law a little bit. Hang on. Who breaks into places?
Did you say he was a drone dude?
No, he's
photographer.
not. He's a photographer. And he got arrested a little while ago and was in prison for ages, and for no good reason, basically.
Right.
Because they kept like trying to come up with these reasons that he should be fined or arrested or go to jail and stuff, and every single one was like, that didn't happen, or like that's not right, or that's not that, stuff like that. So he was just constantly getting bombarded with all of this stuff where he was like, no, that's not true, that's not what happened, blah blah blah. And he ended up being able to pay his bail and getting out. But it's mental.
Yeah.
It starts with a D, and I can't remember his name. This is so annoying. I'm looking on Twitter. I don't know where else to look. This is so annoying. I swear that his name was drift, but evidently it's not drift.
Not thinking about.
Yeah, no, it is. It is drift.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So he's an urban explorer and photographer.
Right.
Is what he calls himself. But he basically like figures out ways to get on top of buildings and like on cranes and stuff like that. So like he takes photos like this. I don't know if the camera can quite see that, but
That's insane.
if you look up Drifter Shoots on Twitter, that's the stuff that he makes, and he's insane.
Yeah, but he went to prison for it.
Jail.
Yeah,
So he was just held in a jail cell for a while.
I see. I get it. I thought you said prison before, and I was like,
Sorry,
what?
no.
I see. That is so scary.
Yeah, it's so sketch, but so cool.
Yeah.
And he got in a lot of trouble, but he takes some of the coolest photography I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's so unique because there's no other way for him to do it.
Yeah.
But he has like videos on his Twitter of him like, you know, running through the subway, stuff like that. Just mental stuff, just living the life, you know. But yeah.
Yeah.
So he got arrested a little while ago, and he's out now, thankfully. But his work is some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen, and I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Recreating that stuff.
That's beyond like risk your gear and do something a little bit.
Yeah, that's risk everything and do something super sketch and potentially go to jail for it.
But the shot might be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But that being said, like when you're at that point and you're like that high up, you kind of can't go wrong.
Yeah.
Like you just go click and you'll be sweet. Like it's one of those things where it's like, you know, as long as it's where the story of the photo tells more than the actual photo. Don't get me wrong, the photos are incredible.
Yeah.
He's clearly a fantastic photographer, but yeah, it's at that point where it's like, you know, the photo is fantastic, but also just
how did you get
the
there?
fact that it is in that location just shoots it to the moon.
Yeah.
Which reminds me,
Yes.
can we talk about helicopters?
Sure.
So I sent Joe a link like a week ago to helicopter tours in Brisbane because I think that it would be super, super cool to do like an open doors helicopter flight with my camera and take pictures.
Yeah.
Just from a vantage point that people very rarely get to see. I think that would be super cool. And I sent that to Joe and I said, hey, we should do this. And what did you say, Joe?
I said that doesn't seem like a good idea to me.
Why?
That's scary.
Why? It's cool.
But I didn't read the open doors part.
Yeah. You're strapped in.
So
What's the
I
problem?
don't open the door of a perfectly good plane and just.
Okay, you're way lower than a plane.
I'm strapped in. It's fine.
You're way lower than
I got
a
a
plane.
seatbelt on.
You'll be fine.
Nah, that doesn't really.
Why don't you want to do it? Are you scared of helicopters?
Oh, like a little bit.
Why?
Because I'm scared of planes. I'll go on them, but they freak me out.
Yeah, but do it for the shot, man.
Do it for the shot.
Do it for the shot.
I'm not drift.
Do it for the shot.
I'll happily walk through forests and stuff and bush bash for like 30 minutes. But I don't know about hanging out the side of a helicopter.
Would you climb a crate?
No. That's worse.
Do it for the shot. Do it. No. Okay, fine. I'll find someone else.
Yeah, go with someone else.
You need 3 people to book the helicopter.
Oh, do you? I thought there were single person ones.
Nah. It's 3 people. So you got to get 3 people for the flight to be worth it economically, for fuel and stuff. So I got to find 2 other photographers who want to go on a helicopter with me and take pictures.
Hang out the side of it. helicopter.
I think it would be so sick. Just like, so I was watching a video from I think it was Chris Howe, and it was like his video on being a travel photographer, and he was talking about that's one of the things that he loves to do in like every time he travels to a new place was he finds the closest open doors helicopter flight.
Oh, right.
And just like takes aerial photos.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you've got drones, but then being in a helicopter is a whole different thing. Because then you've also got the lifestyle kind of photo of like I'm in a helicopter.
Yeah.
You know, you got like the feet out the window and stuff. So you've got that extra level of existing, I guess, and it makes that way cooler.
Yeah.
Peter McKinnon did a video recently actually where he was in the Canadian mountains. And he has this friend who's a helicopter pilot, and they just flew through the mountains in the helicopter, and they had he had his dog with him, and he was just like in the helicopter hanging out. And they landed on top of this random mountain.
Wow.
And just like
Went
walked around for a bit and then came back, and it's really cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's like I want to do that. I want to do that.
You need to get a friend that's a helicopter pilot then.
Yeah, well, I do know someone whose family owns a helicopter business, but I don't want to talk to them.
Although I know, well, it's probably a bit different, but I know someone who has his pilot like plane.
I do too, actually.
And he wants to buy a plane now.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, slightly related, not particularly. I read something about like how, like someone was like, "Can someone explain to me how planes and helicopters work? Because I don't understand." And the person wrote the top reply was like, "Planes make friends with the air, and they glide gently through it, and it's a mutual relationship where they balance each other out very nicely, and it all works out very well. Helicopters beat the air into submission." Which I thought was just a fantastic explanation of how helicopters and planes work.
That is a really good explanation of it.
Helicopters literally just go
and push the air down so that you can go up.
Yeah.
That's it.
Similarly, you actually can't fly helicopters. This is why. So I went on a bit of a rabbit hole the other day because I was looking up like Mount Everest and like people that die on Mount Everest and stuff. And I was like, why can't they just go rescue them? Like, what's the problem?
Yeah, I watched the movie Everest not long ago.
Yeah.
And same, yeah, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Why can't they just not rescue them? Anyway, found out can't fly helicopters that high.
No.
It just doesn't work. The air's too thin. The helicopter will just go. Whoop.
Yeah, it just doesn't go up anymore.
Yeah, that's so crazy to me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. How weird is that? It makes sense, like physics wise, it makes sense. But like, just in my head, I'm like, yeah, helicopters, they just go boop. You know, they're like air elevators, but you know,
Elevators aren't attached to anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Therefore, an air elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think it's like 15,000 feet is their max.
Yeah.
Or 15,000 meters. No,
probably
that's
feet.
too high. Feet.
Yeah, there's just not enough air for it to push, like give it leverage to keep going up.
That's so weird to me.
And it'll just like keep spinning as fast as it can, and it'll just fall.
Whatever.
Until the air catches it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got that, but yeah, so super interesting. I went down that rabbit hole because I watched this video of these climbers on Everest, and it showed like the most recent body on Everest, which is really interesting because this was like end of 2019. This video was like start of 2020. End of 2019, this guy from the US went up and died on the descent. So he summited and he died on the descent, and he was still attached to all the ropes and stuff, so he was still there. And in the video, they like walk by. You don't see anything. It's like it basically just looks like a jacket, just covered in snow.
Yeah.
Super interesting though. Like I find that stuff fascinating.
Yeah.
And then the top comment was like the guy's son, who was like, "That's my dad." And like, thank you so much for sharing this video because we didn't know like where he was or what had happened or anything like that. So like being able to see that was fantastic. Anyway, like a week later, they ended up cutting his ropes. so that he wasn't in the way, and you have to leave them there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was super, super fascinating that they uploaded this video, and then the son replied,
Like, thank you.
yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Similarly, last thing on Everest, with all of the tourism being dead because of COVID and stuff, no one's going to Everest and no one's climbing Everest. Everest has gotten covered in garbage.
Has it?
Yeah, it is horrendous.
Wow.
Because of how many people are going up now.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because a lot of people would just be like dumping their oxygen tanks at the top and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So the summit is gross. Like it's covered in garbage. And while there's been no one there, all of these Nepalese climbers have been going up and have been clearing all of the rubbish. So they've cleared, I think, something like 15 tons
Jeez.
of garbage off of the mountain, just going up and hauling stuff down. They've now, not now, but as of like 2018, I think, they put in a rule where anyone who climbs Everest has to bring down 7 pounds of garbage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how bad it's gotten. That's now a part of climbing Everest, is that you have to bring garbage down.
Wow. That's insane.
So I thought that was super interesting.
Would you ever climb Everest?
No.
No.
I'm not a mountaineer.
Doesn't interest you?
No. Particularly now that it's like, it's not that it's not hard, but it's not like people still die, obviously, but it's not an adventure anymore. It's more, it'd be more like going on a guided tour at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously it's still very difficult, and it's absolutely still a lifetime achievement. Like,
I was gonna say, have you ever met anyone who's climbed Everest?
It's absolutely still a lifetime achievement, and like fantastic that you've done that. But at this point in time, it's basically like, as long as you have enough money and like you can set apart enough time to acclimatize and stuff, and you have the general fitness to walk it.
Yeah.
It's not a trek anymore. It's more like a pilgrimage.
That's true.
Yeah. That's it. I'd rather do something like actually super adventurous and like piss off somewhere rather than do something that now thousands of people have done.
Fair enough.
Not to negate its
No.
it's
It's only thousands of people. It's not.
Yeah. Actually, I wonder how many people actually have climbed it.
How many people have summited?
Yeah. How many people?
Because I know a lot of people don't go that far.
Yeah. How many people summit Everest? Actually, 2 people just died on Everest.
Oh, really?
Like 12 hours ago.
Wow.
I did see that this morning. They're the first deaths this season.
I thought that was only like a 1 or 2 week period that they could climb it.
I think it's
May.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because otherwise it's like storming most of the time.
Yeah.
Or winds are too high or something.
Yeah. Yeah, there's 4,000 people have done Everest now.
4,000.
Yeah. And because it's the same couple weeks, then that makes sense. So because it's only a couple weeks a year that you can do it. So go for major party, making climbing near impossible. It's only when the winds die down in May, and again for a short period of September. That's the summit window.
Yeah.
So most people climb it then.
Yeah.
Super interesting though. There's an article here from someone who says I've climbed Everest 21 times and it's not the mountain it used to be. So they clearly have the same point.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting. Anyway,
Very interesting.
enough about Everest.
Yeah.
Do you want to finish on anything?
I mean, no, not really.
No? We should just finish up?
Yeah.
All right. Social media, hit it.
Twitter at the Froe Media and Instagram at Froe Media.
Yes. And go check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/The Froe Show. We will see you over there.
We will.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.